Good morning, boys and girls, and happy Easter. I hope you're enjoying maybe some eggs. Now, your eggs will be relevant today because the chocolate egg is empty on the inside, and today we're going to learn about something that was empty when people didn't expect it to be empty. But before that, this story carries on from the two previous ones. Okay, that was one about Pontius Pilate and the one about the thief on the cross and Jesus being crucified. So there's a bit of background coming up with a man who dug a grave, like a tomb, into some rock. So I'll give you that background and then we'll start the story. And today's story is called Jesus is Alive. So here we have a man digging, and he's called Joseph. Now it's Joseph of Arimathea. And we'll see where he fits into this story. So we'll read this wee bit together. In his spare time, Joseph dug out a cave in a large rock, making a tomb to be buried in when he died. As he worked, he thought about God's promised Messiah. Now, he, that is Joseph, believed that Jesus was the promised one. And from a distance, Joseph and his friends watched sadly as Jesus died on the cross. Joseph had an idea. Jesus could be buried in the new tomb. So here we have two pictures. Now, look at this first picture here. What do you think's going on? Yeah, there's a tomb, and they're rolling a big stone in front of it. Now here's the important bit, down at the bottom. Jesus was put into this tomb, but let's read this. Jesus had said he would rise from the dead on the third day. So the Pharisees begged Pilate to have the tomb guarded until then. He agreed. Soldiers put a seal on the door and stood guard. So there's a seal so nobody could open it. And these soldiers were to stand there and make sure nobody would take the body away. So that's the background to our story. And today's story is called Jesus is Alive. It's taken from John chapter 20. So let's read. Mary was sad because Jesus was dead. When she went to the cave tomb, the stone was rolled away and Jesus was gone. She went and told Peter and John, and they both ran to the tomb. They saw the empty clothes. But it was true. Jesus had gone. Two angels asked Mary, "Why are you crying?" "They have taken Jesus away," she said, "and I don't know where they have put him." Someone said, "Mary, why are you crying?" Mary thought it was the gardener. "Where have you taken Jesus?" she asked. He called her name Mary. That sounded like Jesus calling her. She dried her eyes and looked up. It really was Jesus. He was alive. Now it's your turn to read. So can you read this? Well done. Mary was so happy. Jesus was dead, but now he was alive. Jesus told her to go find his friends and tell them the good news. Mary ran to find Jesus' friends. "I have seen Jesus. He is alive," she told them all. At Easter, we remember that Jesus is alive. That's a wonderful story. And here's our very short verse for today. And it's very simple, and you'll see this lots of places. He is not here. He is risen, just as he said. And that's the important thing. Jesus did exactly what he said he would do. He would rise on the third day. And that's why we celebrate Easter. And that's why sometimes when you get your Easter egg, that it's a chocolate shell and there's nothing inside to remind you of the empty tomb. Now remember the whole point why he died and rose, and that was to take our sins away. So let's thank God for what he has done through his son Jesus. Amen, and enjoy your day. Bye bye.